Welcome to the Geek Easy. Sit back, grab a libation of your choice, and relax, 'cause it's time to do some geek stuff in the Geek Easy. Welcome to the Geek Easy, fellow geeks. Grab a beverage of your choice, because today we are going to be reviewing Vault of Horror number 3, the EC Archives. Paperback. The hardback has the red cover, but I love these old pre-code horror stories, books, in case you haven't heard me mention that before. And I'm trying to collect as many of these archives as I can. There's the Tales from the Crypt one, there's the Vault of Horror, and all that. And this is one that I managed to pick up. I've got 1 and 2 on the way in the mail now. This is an exceptional book. See, Crypt of Terror. They have these, each archive here has 6 different books in it. This one comes from, what is it? The Vault of Horror 24 through 29. And each one of these versions has like 5 or 6 different stories in it. They're about like 5 pages long, where you have a little setup, like maybe somebody's showing up to like they're breaking down, their car breaks down and they go to a house that happens to be along the side of the road, and they come across stuff in the house where there's monsters or something, or criminals set up and do something, commit a crime, and the victim of that crime comes back from the dead, and they get payback. So it's each just a little short story with a twist at the end. And they also have, let's see, the little letter pages that came with the magazine, and a little written story in each one as well. So it's nice to see what is done in each one of these things back in the day. And these books are one of the main reasons that brought on the Comics Code, the Wortham reports and all that. But it's just nice to be able to go through all these things. And one of my favorite stories in this one is the Witch's Cauldron. It was the last one in the last book. So you have these two guys, right? What they're doing is they're coming up to bums, to drunks, and saying, "Hey, you want to earn $10?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, I want it," because they're gonna want to use it on drinks. And they say, "Okay, you go to this address, and go up there, and you can earn $10." What they're doing is they're sending all these drunks to a guy, or the one guy sending it to another guy, and they will draw a pint of blood and pay them $10. So the reason they do that is because, like the drunks and the alcoholics, they couldn't give blood at a regular place because they're drunks and alcoholics and all that stuff. The blood banks would not pay for the blood there. So what they're doing is they're collecting it up, and then they're going and selling it to the place and making a profit off of it. And so it's working. It works well for them for a little while until the guys stop coming in because they're doing it. Some of these guys keep coming back in within the month, and they're doing a few pints, and finally one of them dies because he had gotten too much blood taken out, and all the other guys are like, "Oh, hey, we're not doing this stuff," and so what they do is they aren't making as much money because the drunks aren't coming in, and so they go and start kidnapping them, bringing them in, and taking the blood from them, which is still losing them money. And they finally go out. They find a guy in this one house that they thought was abandoned, or a warehouse they thought was abandoned. Grab the box he was in and bring him back. And they open it up, and it was a vampire, and he goes and just sucks them dry. So little bad guys doing bad things, and they finally get a twist at the end. So that's the type of story, and this is one of my favorite ones in this book. So if you enjoy stuff like... Oh, and by the way, Vault of Horror, I think it's either this or one of the other ones, became Tales from the Crypt. So the Tales from the Crypt show comes from stuff like this. So if you really enjoy that type of stuff, you should get it, because it is very well written, kind of spooky, especially for the time, back in the early to mid 50s. This just kind of incredible art and just well done type of things. It's so good, and you will have a great time reading one of these. And since there's a bunch of stories in it, you don't have to read the whole thing, and remember everything that happens. You can just do a couple stories, put it down, and not get lost. But these are some great stories, really great stuff, and I highly recommend it. I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5 just because these are such great stories, and highly recommend it. But anyway, let me know in the comments below what you think of stuff like this, if you've read it, and like, subscribe, and most of all, enjoy your horror books.